In July 2023, I successfully completed my first year at uni. And today I'll be pulling back the curtain on something they don't teach you at orientation, the unfiltered truth about thriving and surviving in your first year at university. So grab your notepad and your pen because we are about to uncover the secrets to mastering year one. In this video, we're going to be talking about 5 main things. Number 1 is how I found my footing in like the first week of school. The second is the study strategies that helped me with my academics. The third is the social adventures. The fourth is finding that balance, striking the balance between all you do in uni. And the fifth would be the lessons that I learned all through my first year in school. So make sure you watch this video up until the end. I'm certain you don't want to miss any part of it. So without further ado, chapter 1, finding my footing. Now, it's one of the most asked questions or most thought of experience before you get into school. How exactly are you going to locate your classes? How exactly are you going to make friends? How exactly are you going to know the ins and outs of school? Well, the thing is, my introverted side is more dominant than the extroverted side. So I already knew I was in trouble going to school because I knew it was going to be a difficulty making friends. But what helped me with everything was immediately befriending my roommates. So if I was to advise anyone that is looking to get into school, I would say try to make as many acquaintances as possible. And if you are anything like me and it's difficult for you to talk to people, then you don't really need to think too much about it. When you're getting into school for the first time, almost everybody is as clueless as you, right? At least almost every 100 level student is as clueless as you. So, it is an avenue where you can easily make friends. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to the Senate office, right? Do you know where that is? No, I don't know where that is. Both of you are confused together. And, that's how friendship starts. Now, the reason I'm putting this in air quotes is because in the first week, don't be looking to make any friends. Just try and build acquaintances because they would help you, especially when you're looking for things, because you'd be moving around a whole lot. And that is what helped me in the first 2 weeks of school. Just having my roommates, go with me wherever I went, or I'd go with them wherever they went to, and then trying to acquaint with people that I would see on a regular basis. So that should be your goal, right? Everybody's clueless, so it should be easy to do that. Next, we go to chapter 2, which is the study strategies that helped me in my academics. This might be the most important part of the video because at the end of the day, whether or not you see it like that, your parents sent you to school to read and then get a degree. By the mercies of God, I finished 100 level on a first class. So these are some of the study strategies that worked for me. Number 1, and I think this is one of the most important, I always formed my notes. All right, I always form my notes by myself. It would always be a combination of the PDF of the lecturer, that's for lecturers that had PDFs, and then a lot of stuff that I found on YouTube. And then coupled with some things that I wrote down in class, right? It would always be a combination of that. One course that taught me this very well was Math 101. I then understood that most lecturers would not set questions in the confines of the things that they taught you in class. I've always been creating my notes from then. It makes my note more concise, and then it's like I'm reading extra when I'm setting the notes and when I'm reading again. I think it's extremely important. There is so much resources that you can get on YouTube. Like YouTube has everything, right? And YouTube was genuinely my lecturer, like my main lecturer. Then the lecturers in school, my assistant lecturers, right? Like YouTube genuinely helped me a lot. And the second thing is, if you have been watching my videos, then you will know that I plan a lot. I schedule a lot. Almost in every video, I always find a way to put this in, creating a schedule and things like that. I plan what I want to read, when I want to read it, and for how long I want to read it. Like, nothing is impromptu. I don't just say, oh, okay, I'm going to read this and not put a time to it. So that helps me try to cover as much as possible. By God's grace, there's hardly ever a time I enter the exam hall and I have not at least read 90% of all the things that I'm meant to read. And planning plays a big role in this, right? Where I'm not leaving everything to time and chance. I'm realistically planning the things I need to study, and like I said, when I want to study and for how long I want to study it. So that plays a major role in trying to cover as much as you need to cover. Number 3, and this is my favorite, past questions. Past questions. Like, if you can lay your hands on them, like whatever you need to do to lay your hands on them, please do. Because not a lot of lecturers have the time and energy to set new stuff, right? More often than not, it's repeated. It doesn't work always, but even for the times that it does not work, at least it gives you an idea as to where to read, right? I've written exams where the past question was extremely different from what I saw in the exam. But the thing is, I'm doing it both ways. I'm trying to read the past questions to understand everything that is there. So in case I see that exact same thing, I don't need to look twice, right? And at the same time, I'm just trying to understand the concepts. Like, okay, I saw integration in the past question. Let me just try and read on integration. It's not something you're meant to be dependent on. And I only ever read past questions after I'm done reading my notes. except for courses that I don't really read. But I only read the past questions after I'm done reading my notes. It helps me to understand better and then prepare for the worst case scenario, which is not seeing that particular past question in my exam. And the fourth is I read like mad. But the thing is that a friend told me that, Tega, your life cannot motivate anybody to read. If you walk with me, you're my roommate or you're my close friend, right? I can't really motivate you because nothing in me spurs anybody to read. And that's because I don't necessarily read at the times that I'm meant to. But when I say I read like mad, it's because I try to compress everything within a short period of time. It's not the best habit. Like I said, I almost always cover. It's very rare for me to enter the exam hall and I've not read at least 80 to 90%. Of course, there are times I've gone to the exam hall and I don't understand anything that is there, even with my reading. There have been situations like that, but at least I was prepared. So whatever happens. Do you get what I mean? So basically, these are some of the things that have helped me. So we go over to the next chapter, which is chapter 3, and that is social adventures. I genuinely don't have that many social adventures. I spend most of my time in chapel, like chapel activities. That's genuinely where I spend most of my outside time. All right, other than classes, of course, but that's where I spend most of my, outside my room time. But at the end of the day, the truth is that everyone is different. For me, because my introverted side is like slightly higher, I'm not introverted, it's just slightly higher than extroverted side. But I think it's important that you need to understand what makes you cool off and then do some things that can step you outside of your comfort zone. One of the things that I enjoyed doing, that's to in my leisure or when I wanted to cool off or just in general, was spending time with my friends, but not as a group, not like 4 of us are meeting somewhere. No, I don't really like that, right? But one-on-one situations at cafeterias or taking long walks, things like that. Like I really enjoy those. So I think that is extremely important. Just find what works for you. Then still in the social adventures bit, I think it's extremely important to do things that are outside your comfort zone. Not necessarily things that you would do when when you want to cool off, but things that are outside your comfort zone. I think it still, plays a really huge role in who you churn out at the end of the school year. As for things that I did outside of my comfort zone, one of the top should be running for a college post at my school. I ran for the post of assistant academic director. The reason it's outside my comfort zone is because I don't like anything that has to do with elections. If at all I was to hold a leadership position, I would rather you just select. And if you don't select me, it's fine. Like I'd rather you just select. I don't like the whole bit of, oh, can you vote for me? Or, creating flyers, campaigning. Like, I don't like it at all. I knew it was the right thing for me to do at that particular time. By the way, I lost the election. And the reason I said that was so it complements my statement in that I said I knew it was the right thing to do. I still believe that it was the right thing to do at the time, even with the outcome. So it was not the outcome that would have justified what I did. Another thing I did outside of my comfort zone, I participated in a pitch competition. And the reason it was outside my comfort zone was because I had to talk to the whole school. Like I mentioned in my last presentation, I was privileged to start to make videos for students in my class last semester. And we have a YouTube channel, you can check that out, DTA Tutorial, or you see it as DTA Man. We made only 5 videos and we got over 5,000 views with 180 subscribers for that particular YouTube channel. Now, I'm not someone... One of the characteristics that I have, very outspoken, I'm good at public speaking, I think, and I'm shy at the same time. I did not want to do that, but I just did. Like, again, doing things outside my comfort zone, and plus there was like a 50,000 naira prize attached to it. That particular one, I did win it. And the benefits of that was immense. Firstly, I got paid. I had the opportunity to work with a lot of people because now almost the whole school knew what I was doing in terms of business. So some people reached out to me, said they wanted to work with me and the company and things like that. And it just made a lot of things easier. The point basically is do things outside your comfort zone. Like just try, like just do it. If it makes me scared, it's the more reason I want to do it. I think this is a good time to remind you to subscribe. Like hit the subscribe button. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you've enjoyed the video so far, then please subscribe if you haven't and like the video. Over to chapter 4, striking a balance. The eternal quest for balance. I'm not even going to lie, there were times that I was overwhelmed. But at the end of the day, if you're someone that does a lot of things or you want to get into a lot of things, not for the sake of it, but for purpose sake, it is extremely important that you learn how to balance things, because there's something that I heard from someone. The point in your life right now, like right now that you're watching this video, this is the least busy you're ever going to be if you want to be someone important in the world, right? So if you want to be someone that offers value to people, this would be the least busy that you're ever going to be, so just learn the art of balancing now. But my major technique or major strategy that I used in balancing all that I had to do was understanding a bit of purpose, understanding a bit of what God would have me do, because it then starts to streamline the kind of things that I did. For example, when I ran for the post of assistant academic director, a friend asked, because it was two people that was running. I was in 100 level. The other person that ran with me, the person wasn't 200 level, and the person won. All right. So my friend asked, like, why didn't you go for the other post? Because there was another post that did not, have any other person running in that post. Meaning that if I ran for it, I would have automatically won. Right. And the person asked, and I said, I'm not doing it just so I can hold the post. It's purpose sake. I understand what God would have me do. I understand where He would have me be, the sectors He would have me be. And this just helped in not getting into a lot of things. I think purpose gives a human being focus. So now you are directed, you literally have laser focus on the things that you want to do, and you put a lot of energy into those particular things. I don't waste my energy, right? I'm led, I'm directed, I know what God will have me do, I know what it is that I need to do per time by God's grace. So it helps a lot when choosing the activities that I involve myself in. But I made a semi-detailed video on this, on how you can manage your time in university. I will link it up here. But still on this balance topic, someone asked how I manage business stuff. I made a video on how I started a tutorial company, and I did it whilst in school. Actually, I will link it up here. But how exactly do I manage business stuff and academic stuff at the same time? Because by God's grace, it seems like I'm thriving in both. Number one, the mercy of God. This is not a cliche. Take it as a cliche, nah, you sabi, but I can't really negate it. I think it's very unfair, right, that I tell you these tips, strategies, and all these things that I used to help me without telling you that I used to pray, right? Start telling you that, the mercy of God has helped me genuinely. Sometimes I am shocked. For example, this semester I was not meant to finish the first class, right? I'm not even on the high end of the first class. I was not meant to, but the mercy of God did see me through. So if I just tell you one part of the spectrum, I don't think that'd be fair. The second thing is understanding yourself and how you work, how you operate, and how you can carry out the things that you need to carry out. Like I mentioned earlier, my life does not spur anybody to read. Like if you work with me often, right, and you say, okay, Tega does personal development, he makes video on academics, blah, 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 maybe his life it can't happen, because for the major part of the semester, I'm not reading my books. Right, it's always like 3-4 weeks till exam that I start reading. Like I said, I will change. I'll make a video next year, right? But genuinely, I do need to switch up my strategy. But it's because that I can crash read, right? I can spend a lot of hours for that 2-3 weeks. So it now seems like I covered for the remaining time, like everyone else was reading, that kind of a thing. So I understand myself. I know that, okay, this is how my body operates. This is how my mind operates. This is how my brain works. I have the ability to crash read, and by God's grace still understand. So I spend most of the time on business stuff, right? So for maybe like half of the semester, I'm working on the business. Then when I know that I need to read, then I like put that on pause and I start to do that. And the final thing that helps me with managing business and academics is delegation. I talk about this a lot. In school, I had to get a personal assistant. It was not for luxury purposes. It was because it was absolutely necessary at the time, and then I had a lot of time to do the things that I needed to do, because now someone was helping me with most especially business tasks, right? So that was how I managed it. Of course, I was paying the person, and that is now your decision. Is this something you're willing to do? Are you willing to release a bit of cash just to have more time to do the things that you want to do? So in my opinion, it's more like buying time, and in my head, it's so worth it. If you've gotten to this part of the video and you have not liked it yet, please consider liking the video. So we head over to the last chapter, which is lessons that stick. I know you hear this time and time again, but university is not just about getting a degree. These are some of the lessons that I learned that are external from academics. Don't look for real ones. Focus on becoming a real one by yourself, and then naturally your kind would gravitate towards you. It is funny that most people want to get good friends and all of that, but they negate the part of actually becoming a good friend. I think if you're a good person, you naturally would gravitate good people towards yourself. Most of the people that I talk to, I did not make the first contact, right? And it still boils down to not being able to make friends. I'll read a book about that and learn how to do it. But basically, most of them, made the first contact, and like 90% of them have been very, very solid people. We've had almost the same values in spirituality, academics, personal development, and things like that. And I just think it has been such a blessing. And it's because I know the kind of people I want, so I try to be that person as well. So focus on becoming the kind of friends that you want to have. The second is set your standards. They're going to call you proud, Sha. If you don't want them to, don't set your standards. You can just moving around with plenty of people, right? But if it's something that you want to do, then set your standards. It's very unlikely that someone is going to walk up to me and be talking about bomb, right? Or anything immoral. And it's because I make my standards known. Like you can literally, you can see it exudes out of me. I'm not hiding it, right? I'm a Jesus boy, unapologetically. So set your standards, and that'll just determine the quality of people that you have around you, right? It will save you from a lot of trouble because you're with the right set of people, and it's because you have set your standards and you have made it publicly known. So anyone that wants to be your friend or relate with you on a really high level would either have to increase their standards or they just would not bother at all. It saves you a lot of peace of mind, and most especially if you're attending a private school, it saves you from rustication. The third, and if you know me, this is my most important lesson. This is one of the most important lessons that I have learned, and it is offer value. Like, just try to help as many people as you humanly possible can. I don't know if that's correct, but you get the gist, right? Try to help as many people as you can. I have a channel. I will link it in the description. DT Math, that is the YouTube channel for my company. And on there, what I basically do is, or what I was doing was helping my course mates with math. So I was just making like math videos on topics that they didn't understand because I was our lecturer. But basically, try to help people as much as you can, whether that be academically, spiritually, in whatever way that you can, right? At the end, it pays off. And don't do it because in the end, it will pay off, right? Just do it because, why not? It makes people happy. It gives you a sense of accomplishment and joy that you're actually doing something important with your life. So I think it's something you should always look out for. Don't always look to get, right? Try and give. In fact, do that more often than you try to get. Then the final lesson is get out of your comfort zone. Try to do things that you normally would not do, because those are the things that are more noteworthy. Those are the things that you would look back, and you'd be like, yeah, I'm glad I did that, right? You want to have, experiences that you can beat your chest and say, I was scared, but I did that. So that's a wrap on my very realistic take on navigating your first year in university. I hope you've gained some sort of value, and if you did, please hit the like button if you haven't, subscribe and turn on post notification. And if you're getting into your first year of uni, understand that it's okay to feel overwhelmed sometimes. There will be times where it would feel like you have a lot going on and you have so little effort to accomplish those particular things. But remember, in those times, it is extremely important that forward is your only goal, right? You want to move forward no matter how small those particular steps are. Make sure you're not staying in any stagnant position, and at the end of the day, I promise you everything will be fine. Well, that's it from me today. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Take care. Peace.